If you think everyone is using AI for the exact same things, well, think again. The real story of how AI is weaving its way into our economy is way more complex and honestly a lot more interesting. Today, we're going to dive deep into the Anthropic Economic Index, and we're going to uncover some of these hidden patterns of AI adoption and what they might be telling us about the future of work.
So, travel planning in Hawaii, scientific research in Massachusetts, and building web apps in India. What on earth do these three kind of random activities have in common? Well, it turns out they are all uniquely popular uses for the AI model Claude in those specific places. Now, this isn't about what's most popular overall, because, yeah, that's still software development pretty much everywhere. No, this is about the character of AI use, and it tells a really fascinating story.
And that brings us right to the big question for this explainer. The tools are global, right? Anyone can access them. But how they're being applied is deeply, deeply local. And answering this question doesn't just show us how we're using AI right now, but it might just point to where the biggest economic shifts are going to happen first.
To get started, we have to look at the where. As it turns out, geography is one of the most powerful predictors of AI adoption, but, and this is the key, not always in the ways you might expect.
So the key metric we're going to be looking at is the Anthropic AI Usage Index, or AUI. It's a really simple but powerful idea. Basically, it levels the playing field by comparing AI use to the size of a country's workforce. If a country scores over 1, it means they're punching way above their weight.
All right, so who's leading the pack? The US is at the top, not a huge surprise there, but check out Israel and Singapore. These are smaller, super tech-advanced nations, and they're showing massive adoption per person. Then you've got India and Brazil making the top 5 in just raw usage, which shows this is a truly global thing, but the intensity of that use is all over the map.
And when you dig in, the data shows this really powerful link to economics. There's this super clear correlation. Richer countries tend to use AI more intensively. Now, what this suggests is that the economic benefits of AI, at least at first, might flow to already developed nations, and that could potentially widen the global economic gap. It's kind of like a modern echo of past tech revolutions.
And you can see this even within a wealthy country like the US. It's not just about income. The local economy is everything. In DC, professionals are using Claude for editing documents. In California, surprise, surprise, it's for coding. New York, finance. And here's my favorite example. Hawaii uses it for tourism-related tasks at double the national average. So AI isn't some monolith. It's more like a mirror, reflecting the unique economic DNA of a place.
Okay, let's build on that. It's not just where we use AI that's changing, but how we interact with it. And the trend here is pretty dramatic. We're seeing this massive shift from AI as a partner to AI as more of an autonomous worker.
Now, all the data for this analysis tracks changes over just the past 9 months, which, in the world of AI, that's basically an eternity. It just goes to show you how fast our relationship with this tech is evolving.
And we're seeing a huge shift in what AI is being used for. Look at this. Traditional business stuff like management and finance operations, their share of AI use has actually gone down. Meanwhile, these knowledge-heavy fields are just surging. Educational tasks are up by over 40%, and science-related tasks are up by 1/3. This suggests AI's role is getting deeper, moving into more complex, specialized work.
Okay, so to get the next point, we need to define 2 key terms. The first is augmentation. That's when you and the AI collaborate, like you're brainstorming partners. The second is automation. That's when you give the AI a task and it just produces the work with minimal input from you, almost like an employee.
39%. What is that? Well, that is the current share of what's called directive automation. This is the most hands-off form, where users basically just give a command and trust the output.
And just look at that growth. 9 months ago, directive automation was sitting at 27%. Today, it's 39%. So the big takeaway here is that we are rapidly, and I mean rapidly, giving AI more responsibility. This isn't just a small change in behavior. It's a massive vote of confidence in what the technology can do.
But here's where it gets kind of weird. You'd think that the most experienced AI users would be the ones automating the most, right? Well, you'd be wrong. The data actually shows that people in countries with lower per-person use are more likely to automate tasks. Now, this could be because early adopters in these regions are just more willing to leap straight to automation. Or maybe it's other cultural factors. We don't really know for sure yet, but it is a fascinating wrinkle.
Okay, for our final section, we're going to look at what is maybe the most important divide of all, the huge difference between how businesses use AI versus how the general public does. This is where the economic rubber really meets the road.
When you or I log on to something like Claude.ai, our use is pretty diverse. Yeah, coding is the biggest slice at 36%, but there's a good chunk of education, creative work, and this huge other category. We're basically exploring, playing around with it.
Now let's compare that to businesses using the API. Whoa, it is a completely different picture. The focus on coding is so much more intense, jumping all the way to 44%. And all those other exploratory uses like education and arts, they shrink dramatically. Businesses aren't exploring, they are executing. And this is the money shot right here. Just look at the automation gap. Everyday users like us, we automate about half the time. Businesses, a staggering 77% of the time. This is a massive, massive signal. If you're looking for where AI is going to have major impacts on the labor market first, this is your signpost. Businesses are aggressively automating tasks.
And they're not just automating the cheap, simple stuff either. The data shows businesses are actually more likely to use AI for tasks that are more complex and more costly. What that tells us is that for them, the economic value that AI can create is way more important than the cost of using it. They see a clear return on their investment.
So what does this all mean when you put it all together? It means the AI revolution isn't one single event. No, it's a whole series of different revolutions, all happening at different speeds, in different places, and for different reasons.
The story of AI adoption is really a story of unevenness, and it's layered in three distinct ways. First, you've got geography, where income and local industry are shaping how it's used. Second, there's our very interaction with it, as we rapidly shift from collaboration to command. And third, there's this huge gap by user type, with businesses automating like crazy while the public is still collaborating.
And all of this leaves us with one final thought. This isn't just data on a chart. This is a snapshot of a global negotiation that's happening right now in real time. In every single query and every command we type, we are collectively deciding how much trust and how much responsibility to hand over to AI. The data shows us that line is moving fast. The only question is, where will we draw it?